right. Let me just set this up right here and we're good. All right. Got it. All right, guys. So welcome to Mornings with Nano. I'm so blessed and grateful to be here with each and every single one of you guys that has taken the time to jump on this call on this beautiful Monday morning, October 11th. For those that don't know, the whole month of October is dedicated to leadership, okay? I understand that in order for us to become a better community and a better organization as a whole, all right, we need to make sure that we become better leaders, because understand, guys, we are all leaders in our lives. We are leaders in our relationships. We are leaders in our marriages. We are leaders in our businesses. We are leaders with our little brothers, little sisters. We are leaders in our relationships with our significant others. We are leaders in all areas of our lives, especially moms and dads as well who are on this call. So we are leaders, but in order for us to make this world a better place, we need to increase our leadership and understand the importance of it, all right? So today I want to talk about leadership perspective. Okay. And, I want to read a little bit to you guys about what he talks about in the book when it comes to perspective, because remember, perspective is point of view. All right. Is being able to look at things from multiple different perspectives, multiple different point of views. Now, something I've learned is that most people have a 90-degree view of looking at things. Right. What do I mean? Like a 90-degree view, right? One way of looking at things, one way, right? Straight down, 90 degrees, right? We all know what 90 degrees looks like, right? If we were to do a visual of 90 degrees, this is what 90 degrees look like, right? It's straight down, boom, and straight across. All right, that's 90 degrees right there. Oops, sorry, here we go. That's 90 degrees right there. Okay. And most people have a 90-degree view of looking at things, right? They only look at things their way, right? Type a 1 in the chat box if you know somebody that just has a one way of looking at things, and they only look at it that one way. And if it's not that way, it's wrong, right? I used to be like that. I used to think that, right, there was only one way of looking at things, right? There's people that believe that working a job is the only way to have a living, right? Our parents have a 90-degree view of looking at things. A lot of our friends, a lot of our family members, a lot of our co-workers, all right, have a 90-degree view of looking at things. They only see things one way, okay? But he says this, and this is John C. Maxwell. He says, good leadership requires a perspective shift from it's all about me to it's all about others, all right? Good leadership requires a perspective shift from it's all about me to it's all about others. All right. So you got to change your view to it's about you. All right. You got to change that. It's not about you. It's not about your problems. It's not about your results. It's not about how much money you're going to make. Okay, it's about what you can do for other people. How successful can you make others? How much can you help other individuals get to where they want? Because guys, I want you guys to write this down. Don't ever measure success by what you have. Never measure success by what you have. Measure your success by what everybody around you has that you've helped create. Okay, so don't ever measure success by what you have. So I'm not measuring success because Neno lives in this condo. Neno makes all this money a month. Neno has mornings with Neno. All that's not successful to me. The success comes from what I've been able to create for other people. The successful six-figure earners and six-figure traders that I have in my team, the individuals that I've helped see their full potential, and now they're expressing themselves and they're living a better life because of the value that I provided for them, because of the belief that I have for them. That's how I measure my success, because of the individuals that I've provided the success for. That's successful to me. And something I want you all to understand as well about success, and I want you guys to change the way you're looking at things in terms of the way you're winning. You see, a lot of us, we base our winning based off of the results, the money in the bank, our rank in the back office, right? We think that we're winning based on that. But look, I'm going to tell you guys something. You're winning because you're on this call. You're winning because you have access to information that can change your situation. Jeffrey Omar asked me, Neno, what is success for you? Let me answer that question for you, Jeffrey. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, brother. The progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Progressively realizing that I am accomplishing my goals and I am working every day to become a better. That's success for me. Me waking up and having a successful morning routine, that's success for me. But going back to what I was talking about when it comes to winning, you need to all understand, guys, every single one of you guys need to be happy with where you are. You need to be happy with where you are. You know why? Because just because you have access to this information can change your situation if you let it. It's not about the information, it's about what you do with the information. Okay, so this is what he says. He says, we need to try to see things from other points of view, right? He says, perspective is the way individuals see the world. It comes from their personal point of view and is shaped by life experiences, values, and their current state of mind, the assumptions they bring into a situation, and a whole lot of things, right? So remember, the reality that you live right now, okay, you have to change that. You have to change the way you're looking at things, right? Because it's funny, because in my book, The 5 a.m. Club, and I hope I can find it where it says something about reality. It was so powerful when I read it the other day. I was like, man, I gotta share that with the team because that was so powerful about reality. Listen to this. Listen to this right here. He said, there's a large difference between reality and our perception of reality. It seems from what you're saying that it's almost as if we see the world through a filter that is made up of our personal programming. And we run the program so much, we get brainwashed into believing that we are seeing the world, that this is right. Okay. So what he's basically trying to say is this, is that the reality that you live right now, whatever you're doing right now at this very moment, whatever your results are, okay, however much money you're making, the house that you live in, the car that you drive, he says there is a difference between reality and your perception of that reality. So, which means is that if you choose to make your reality your true reality, then you will continue to live in that reality. So if you choose, okay, this is the car I'm going to drive, then that will continue to be the car that you drive. This is the house that you're going to live in, that will be the house that you live in. This is the amount of money that I have in the bank, that will continue to be your money in the bank. Now, when you change your perception of it, this is when, okay, I understand this. You need to get this right here. I always tell you guys about how back in New York, I lived on the 6th floor in a 6th floor apartment. That was my reality, but I had to change the perception of that reality. So instead of me going into my 6th floor apartment every day, I would see myself coming into my 50th floor penthouse overlooking the ocean. You see, I changed my perception of it. Instead of me seeing my bank account looking like gas prices, I would be grateful for the hundreds and thousands of dollars in my bank account. You see the difference? There's a difference between the reality and the perception of the reality. I knew that, yes, that's where I was at, and I was grateful for where I was at, but I knew that the reality that I was really living was the one in my mind. So you have to learn, okay, as a leader, to change the perception of your reality of the people that you are working with. You got to change people's perspectives. A lot of people are stuck in this reality that because they don't have money, because things are not the way that they want them to right now, that they shouldn't be working on themselves, that they shouldn't be working hard every day, that so on and so forth, because they've accepted the reality that they don't have money. If you're letting the fact that you don't have money stop you from working, you're accepting your reality, and that's the problem. And as long as you continue to let that reality overcome you, then you will continue to live in that reality. The reason why I was able to get out of the situation that I was in, it was because whatever reality I was in, I looked at it from a different perspective. I said, okay, I'm in this reality, yes, but I'm really a millionaire. I'm really a six-figure earner. I'm really a top trader and a top leader within my organization. I really live in Miami in a penthouse on the beach. I changed my perspectives. Okay. And he says, we can easily say that my perspective is my reality. And he says, there is truth to that statement. When we look at the shared reality of an event, though, the more perspectives you get, the more closer to reality you get. Okay. So you got to learn how to change the way you look at things. You have to look at things from a 360 view of looking at things. Before I ever make a decision on anything, I always look at it from all perspectives. Okay, I'd be like, okay, this is my perspective of this situation. How would Sana look at this situation? How would Jasmine look at this situation? What would Matt do in this situation? I look at it from all different perspectives. They call it having a mastermind with your friends and your mentors at all times. Because like Mason said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. If you change the way you're looking at the situation that you are in right now, the things you look at change, right? I changed the way I looked at my apartment in New York City. I changed the way I looked at my bank account. I changed the way I looked at the leaders within my organization. And guess what? The things I looked at changed. The apartment in New York turned into a penthouse in Miami. The bank account that looked like gas prices turned into a bank account that now has thousands and thousands of dollars in it. See how everything changes the moment you change the way you look at things? The leaders that I was attracting into my business that were lazy, undisciplined, changed into leaders that now are disciplined, are going out there and putting in the work every single day. Changing the way you look at things. If you are not happy with your results right now, if you are not happy with the rank in the back office, you need to change the way you're looking at it. Change it. Because if you're looking at it the wrong way, that means that your emotions towards that situation is bad. But if you look at it the right way, your emotions towards that situation is good, and it will create more. Remember, you can't create good feeling bad. Make sure you write that down. You can't create something good feeling bad. So the fact that you are stressed out about not having money, you're never going to be able to create something good feeling bad about yourself for not having money. That's one of the hardest things to accomplish in this business and in this journey, is that because, and look, remember guys, I've been there. I know what it's like to be broke, to not have money, for your bank account to even be withdrawn. I know what that's like. To have to wake up every day happy, even though you know that you are in a financial crisis, you're in debt. Guys, I've been at times, I went from having a 700 plus credit score to almost a 500 credit score, because I was so broke that I couldn't even make my credit card payments. So broke that the money that I was earning, I couldn't use it to pay my credit cards, because that was money that I needed to build my business. Look, I know some of us understand what it is to be that way. But I want you to know, and the reason why I tell you guys that is because I know that there's people on this call that are dealing with that right now, that might not have the financial situation to go out there and accomplish their dreams. And they're letting the financial situation that they're going through right now determine the actions that they take. But I changed the way I was looking at the situation. I went from being sad that I was broke to being happy. How? Because every day I would wake up and I would be like, yes, this negative $50 account right here, I see positive 50,000 in this. I'm so happy, bro. There's so much money in this account. Oof, I'm so happy. Let's go out there. Let's get to work, Neno. This is $50,000 in that account right now, bro. It feels so good. You don't have no debt anymore. That credit score is at 800, bro. I changed. Think about it. I got excited about the things that I was seeing, because if you look at it and you let it overcome you, you automatically lose. You automatically lose if you let that, because look, if you look at it and you feel bad, what do you think is going to happen? You're not going to want to go and work. You're not going to want to take the actions. You're not going to want to work your butt off every single day and wake up every single day if you know that, because you feel bad. So what I started to do is I started to trick my mind. Yo, my bank account has a lot of money. The rank in my back office looks great. I'm attracting great leaders. And you need to learn how to do this, because remember, guys, most people that join these businesses and these industries are joining on their last dollar. Type a 1 in the chat box if you joined this business on your last dollar, right? I joined on my last dollar. Honestly, I didn't even have money. My mom gave me the money. Okay. My mom gave me the money. Okay. I didn't even have my last dollar because I didn't have it. And look, I want you guys to listen to me very, very closely moving forward. Okay. Very, very, very closely. Okay. Where this world is headed and what's about to happen. Okay. You need to be tapped in with your true self. You need to make sure that you're working on yourself every single day, family. I'm telling you, fam, it's only going to get worse for people out there. And I'm not saying it to scare you. I'm not saying it to make things worse for you. I'm letting you know right now, okay, that it is very important that you get tapped in up here. I can end the call right now and I can leave you with that message. Make sure that you're here good, that you're seeing things good right here. Do not let the situations that are happening in your life right now become better than you and overcome you, because it's only going to get worse. These next 3 to 6 months is what's going to determine who separates the real from the fake. The next 3 to 6 months. We're going to see who the real chosen ones really are. We're going to see who the ones that are really chosen and really been working on themselves the next 90 days. We're going to see. We're going to see who's really been reading the books. We're going to see who's really been praying to God every day. We're going to see who's been actually counting their blessings every day. Get right. Make sure that you guys are tapped in and you're changing the way you're looking at things. Leadership perspectives. Change the way you look at things. Things you look at change. Remember this, all right? Now, when he jumps into the leadership perspective, he talks about, number 1, learning perspective thinking. Okay? He says, how do you increase? He says, how do you get those leadership perspectives? Number 1 is you got to learn perspective thinking. Now, let me read this to you. And this is something that we all struggle with. He said, I wish I had tried to think the way others do earlier in my leadership career. He says, for too long, I simply wanted others to think the way that I did. And I couldn't understand why they didn't. Type a 1 in the chat box if you could relate with that. For too long, I simply wanted others to think the way I did. And I couldn't understand why they didn't. So listen to this. I spent a lot of time and energy trying to persuade them to adopt my perspective. But that's not a good way to get people on board with your leadership. Slowly, I began to learn how others thought and to lead them from where they were, not from where I was. Listen, family. He said, I spent a lot of time and energy trying to persuade people to think the way I think. That was me. I used to go to my leaders and I used to go to people in my life like, bro, literally trying to convince them and persuade them, bro, you got to think like me. You got to understand things like I understand things. And that's what he says. He said, I spent a lot of time and energy trying to persuade people to adopt my perspective. Type me too in the chat box if that has been you lately. You've been trying to persuade people, yo, you need to think the way I think. You need to change the way you think, bro, right? Me too. I'm glad we can all relate, right? But he says, that's not a good way to get people on board with your leadership. So if you've been doing that, guys, for all of us typing, and look, and I'll type a me too, because that's something that I've also done, right? He says that's not a good way to get people on board with your leadership. Listen to how it works, though. He says, slowly I began to learn how others thought and to lead them from where they were, not from where I was. So in order for you to change that, you need to take the time to understand why they're thinking the way that they're thinking. That's the key. Because the thing is that what we do is we stand, right? We stand a few steps ahead of them, right? We stand a few steps ahead of them and we tell them, come here. That's what we do. Come here. But instead, you have to go to them and seek to understand them first. Okay, Sana, why do you think the way that you think? Why do you feel this way? What causes you to think that way? What were things that happened to you in the past that are making you feel the way that you feel and think that the way that you think now? Because that's what he said. He says, I slowly began to learn how others thought and lead them from where they were. Okay? Lead them from where they were. So go back to where they are and let them know, yo, feel, felt, found. I feel you, Cedric. I feel you, brother. I felt the exact same way when I started this journey. I had a one way of looking at things. But I found out that if, so on and so forth, if you change the way you look at things, things you look at change. You have to be able to feel good. You have to be able to change the way you look. Right now, what am I doing? Think about what I was doing right before this, right before I explained this to you guys. I was putting myself in your shoes without asking you guys, hey, look, I know what it's like to have a bank account that looks like gas prices. I know what it's like to have debt and have credit scores that are low, right? I was there. I'm walking you guys through this. I'm there with you guys because I learned this. I can't sit there at the end of the finish line and telling you guys, yo, come here, come here. No. I need to walk back and tell you guys, yo, look, I know what it's like to be in this situation. I know what it's like to be struggling financially and not be able to put the work in because you're down on yourself. So he says, I began to learn how others thought and led them from where they were, not from where I was. While people's hopes and dreams may be unique, they share many characteristics. And as a leader, you can connect with them when you know those things. Here's what I discovered. Listen to this. Here's what he discovered about people when he started to lead them. He says, most people are insecure, give them confidence. Most people want to feel special, compliment them. Most people want a bright future, give them hope. Most people need to be understood, listen to them. Most people want direction, walk with them. Most people are selfish, speak to their needs first. Most people get emotionally low, encourage them. Most people want to be included, ask their opinion. Most people want success, help them win. And most people want to be appreciated, give them credit. Come on, family. When you understand how people think and you meet them where they are instead of judging them, you're in a better position to work with them and lead them. That's the real truth right there. So you want to be able to lead people in the right direction, right? You need to understand how they think, and you got to meet them where they are instead of judging them. Don't judge people because, yo, this guy right here, he just looks at things the way he wants them. He has no point of view. Like, don't judge them. Don't judge people. The book is not the 5 a.m. Club. It's not the 5 a.m. Club that I'm reading. That's the other book that I'm reading, right? This is a different book. Okay. Don't judge people, right? Understand people. You're in a better position to work with them and lead them if you understand them. Okay. I'm in a better position to work with you guys and lead you guys because I understand a lot of you guys. I wouldn't say I understand everybody on this call, but I would say that I can really understand some of you. Because remember, the goal is to understand some, not all. I'll be able to understand some of you, and that means I can be able to lead some of you. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat that just in case you guys want to hear it one more time, and I'm gonna repeat it as slow as I can. Most people are insecure, give them confidence. Most people are insecure, give them confidence. Most people want to feel special, compliment them. Most people want a bright future, give them hope. Most people need to be understood, listen to them. Most people want direction, walk with them. Most people are selfish, speak to their needs first. Most people get emotionally low, encourage them. Most people want to be included, ask for their opinion. Most people want success, help them win. Most people want to be appreciated, give them credit. You can understand those things right there, and it'll make a massive change in your life. There you go. Sana got it. Sana got it. Type some 111s in the chat box for Sana for being the best note taker ever, right? 111s in the chat box for Sana for coming through with the notes always, right? So we got to understand perspective thinking when it comes to being a leader within your organization. This right here is a massive game changer for all of your peoples now, because I want you to stop judging the leaders and the people within your business and seek to understand them before you lead them. It goes back to what we talked about, guys, last week, the 5 levels of leadership. Taking the time, level 2. Can anybody tell me what level 2 of leadership is? Anybody tell me what level 2 of leadership is? Permission level. And what is the permission level? What do you do at the permission level? Get to know them, build a relationship, gain trust and respect. Seek to understand. Pay attention to what's going on. You got to understand perspective thinking, right? Listen to this. You got to practice this though, right? Because at the end of the day, practice is what makes this perfect. You got to practice this with people in your organization today. You got to practice this. You got to understand this, right? He says, frequently after a meeting, I will ask the leaders from my team who were present to give their perspective and takeaways on what happened. Their comments help me catch things I may have missed. They also give me insight into their understanding of the leadership dynamics that occurred in the room. Often when I'm developing someone, I'll get their perspective and give them mine. Sometimes I'm able to teach them something and help them go further in their leadership journey. So you always want to include people. That's what he said, right? He says most people want to be included, ask for their opinion. Don't be the only one that speaks on your calls. Don't be the only one that speaks on your leadership trainings. Allow others to share their perspectives. So important. Hey, what did you guys think? What's one thing you learned, one thing you liked? What's one thing you're going to apply, one thing you're going to change, one thing you're going to teach? And after you hear that, I'm going to tell you about me. I'm going to tell you my perspective. Always listen first. When I talk to my leaders, I ask questions. Hey, what do you think about this? Do you think this is acceptable? No, right? Let me explain to you why. Let me give you my perspective. Do I have your permission to give you some advice? Do I? Of course. Perfect. I give them my advice. That's what I do. You got to understand this stuff. You got to get people to understand perspectives. But remember, in order for people to understand your perspective, you got to take the time to understand theirs. Why do people think that what we do is a scam? Ask them questions. Hey, why do you think it's a scam? Why is it that you feel like you can't sell anything? Why is it? Sit there and seek to understand. Why do you think you're going to fail? Why do you feel like working a job is the best case scenario for you? You know how you understand people? Ask people questions. That's how I understand everybody. That's how I take the time to I ask them questions. Let me, because questions gets people to think. Questions gets people to think. Hey, why don't you like reading? I love to hear people's answers because it literally blows my mind. I'd be like, tell me, brother, why is it that you don't like reading? Oh, because I have ADD, or because I've never read a book. You sit down and you listen to people's answers, you'll see how sometimes how they're just like, they'll come up with they'll literally come up with any reason or any way to tell you why they don't want to read or why they don't want to do something. I've heard it all. Yo, let me ask you something, bro. Why you don't like reading? Why is it that you have so much hate for reading? Oh, bro, because I have ADD and I can't stay focused for a long period of time. And it's because I be thinking too much while I read. And I'd be like, do you understand that is the story that you tell yourself, right? You're basically telling yourself that you don't read because you have ADD. You're telling yourself that you don't read because you think too much while you read. Did you know that if you tell yourself a different story, you'll probably become a good reader? What if instead of telling yourself that you can't stay focused while you read, why don't you tell yourself, I stay focused while I read? Instead of telling yourself, I can't stay focused for a long period of time, tell yourself you can stay focused, right? For a long period of time. Tell yourself a different story. Oh, Neno, because I learned better through listening. Really? You learn better through listening to audios? Did you know that when you listen to audios, you're only using one of your senses? You're only using your ears? Did you know that when you read, you use 3 out of the 5 senses? Because you see it, you hear it, and you also touch it when you're following along with your fingers. So if you were to tell me what would be the best way to learn anything, would it be to read or to listen to it? Read. So don't you think that it would be better if you start reading instead of listening to audios? Yes. So when are we going to start? You see how different it is now? I changed the way they looked at it. I changed the way that they looked at it. That's the thing. You have to learn how to change. You have to learn to change the way people think. You have to learn that stuff. And if you're on this call and you're one of those people that makes excuses as to why you don't read, make sure you change that. Because leaders are readers. And maybe not all millionaires read, but all billionaires do. Maybe not all millionaires read, but all billionaires do. And reading helps you change your perspective. And I want you all to understand that. Okay? Perspective is very, very important. Because he says this, when the leaders you're developing become able to see things through the eyes of others, you'll know they'll start to develop maturity in their leadership. You got to learn this stuff. And look at what he says. Always ask questions. Always ask questions. Leadership isn't control. Leadership is influence. He says, you don't want to control people's responses. You want to influence their thinking and their actions. And you do that by asking questions. The questions you ask guide the direction and the pace. The deeper the questions go, the deeper the understanding will go. And the deeper the connection will go from there. So take the time today to get to learn and understand the people in your business if you don't understand them yet. Ask them questions. Hey, let me ask you something, brother. Why do you wake up at the time that you wake up? Oh, you wake up at 8 a.m. Nice. Did you know that the average person wakes up at 8 a.m.? No? Well, look, if you want to be above average, you need to be waking up earlier than 8 a.m. Let me tell you why. Boom, 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 boom. Bro, anybody who's waking up past 8 a.m. is average. I don't care what time you go to sleep. You're average. It's the time average people wake up. I was up at 5 in the morning today. Got to see this. Got to understand this, family. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. All right, family. So with that being said, perspective thinking, that is what perspective thinking is right there. If you guys got value from that, type some 333s in the chat box. If you guys got